Okay, y'all. I got into a frenzy of card pulling, as you can see from the madness that is my table right now. So I'm gonna give you a full moon in Libra reading today, and there's some really cool messages that are coming through. So let's just get going. All right. So we've gotten a really nice progression here from the first card I pulled was Page of Wands, and I really feel like this is the energetic moment that we're in right now. The clarifier here was Goddess of the Moon, so perfect to pull on a full moon. And I do really feel like the message here is that the energy we're in right now is a new time of creativity. So you're getting probably creative sparks, maybe some new ideas, new inspiration. And I mean, the woman on this card, she's just really flowing with that. So what this means is also just honoring your own cycles, and that's what the moon is about too. Recognizing when you have the energy and the creative motivation to do things and taking advantage of that when it's there. Also recognizing when it's time to rest and reflect and receive. So I do feel like there's this cycle, there's this balance there. Understanding what part of the cycle you're in is important. But I do feel like there's going to be a new wave of energy, inspiration, creativity. I feel like that's the phase that we're in right now that's being invited in with this full moon. Now, I asked for the next few, I asked this is kind of just like a general energy check-in, where are we right now? And what I asked then was, what are we releasing with this full moon, and what are we inviting in? And we got some really neat stuff here, actually. So releasing Four of Cups, and as you can see, it's like this person sitting there looking pretty disappointed. She's looking this way, where there seems to be, I don't know, it's a little bit more gray. It's a little like there's not a lot of color over here. And if she turned her head, she would probably see this brand new opportunity over here and all this bright color and all this stuff that's being offered to her. So when I look at this, Four of Cups is a bit about being in an emotional state of either holding on or closing off your heart space. So what we're releasing is that closing off of the heart space, of not taking the new opportunity that exists for us in each moment, in each day. Not maybe focus. I feel like what's happening is we're focusing a little bit more on maybe what we don't want or what isn't going well, looking at these cups maybe that have spilled out, the ways we feel depleted, and we're not looking for the opportunity and maybe some of the pain that's going on. So, yeah, I do feel like what we're releasing, though, is that focusing on what isn't important, or what isn't moving us forward, or what isn't really serving us, and learning to kind of shift our focus and accept the offering that's being given in every moment. And the clarifiers here were, I got attachment in the reverse and community. So this is really great. I do feel like we're releasing attachments to me, what I heard when I pulled this was a priority shift. So we're no longer attached to these false masks or these things that aren't really serving us, that aren't really who we are. And we're releasing that attachment to those things that don't serve us anymore going forward. And I do feel like it's really about getting clear on what is really important. What do I really want in my life? What am I really trying to invite in? What opportunities are the ones that I really want to take? And community as the clarifier, it's really cool because what we got for what to invite in, this Three of Cups card is essentially the community card in the tarot. So we got that message twice, which means it's really important. So I feel what we're releasing is any attachment to negative things, to a false identity, to inauthenticity. And we're inviting in a community of people who really support us in our authentic self, the people who really lift us up and kind of are vibing at the same level and are encouraging us in all of our pursuits and the ideas that we have. And the people who See, the thing about a good community is they don't just constantly buoy you up and tell you how great that you are. They also challenge you to be the best version of yourself. So they don't let you stay stuck in a place like this. They encourage you to keep opening up your heart and keep stretching and keep living up to your fullest potential. So I do feel like what's being released is any type of false relationships, anything that just really isn't in integrity for you anymore, and a refocus on this inspiration and on this new spark that's coming into your life. So what we're inviting, and this is really great, like I said, the Three of Cups. So I do feel like we're inviting in this really healthy community where you're really supported and where you can be yourself without judgment and without feeling the need to fit into any kind of box or make yourself smaller. So Three of Cups is really heart-centered community. And that's leading us to the wheel. So some kind of shift or change of fate. Some kind of, it just feels like absolutely that there's some kind of major cycle that's wrapping up and some new change that's coming on the horizon. And it feels like a really good change, actually. So we're just inviting in this shift and this change and trying to move through it as smoothly as possible. Because sometimes shifts in our life, especially major ones, don't feel very comfortable at the time. And we really struggle against them. So that's where our support system is really helpful for us. And I also got the Knight of Wands with this too. So it was neat because we started with the Page of Wands and we're inviting in the Knight of Wands, which is kind of like one step further in that maturity process. So the Knight of Wands, and what I heard with this was, so we go from receiving this new inspiration, new spark, and really kind of indulging in that space of just feeling inspired. And moving into the Knight of Wands is actually taking action on those things we've been inspired with. So it's taking it one step further, one step forward. And so this feels, with the Goddess of the Moon card, this feels like just like a germination that's happening right now. And what we're moving towards is when this real shift happens, then we're going to kind of take off like lightning and get going with the things that we've been probably asking for and inviting in for a long time. That's what I feel. Like, I feel like this major shift that's coming is something we've been inviting and asking for a very long time. And we're just now going to be seeing kind of the culmination of those things. What I got with that as the clarifier was the Angel of Balance and the Woman holding a heart and then Woman holding a coin. So these two feel like they're together, so I'll talk about them together. But the Angel of Balance, it's like I said, I feel like this reordering, this shift that's happening, is bringing things back into balance in a much healthier way than what they probably have been before. So for some reason, I'm being drawn to this crescent moon here. So it could be that the changes that are being set in motion now with this full moon, when the moon is more in its waning phase, getting closer to the new moon that will come in about 2 weeks, things are going to feel much more balanced then, is what I'm getting there. I don't normally get specific timeline information. Like, I don't normally get a lot of predictive information, but for some reason that's coming up. So if that feels relevant for you, you're going to get a new sense of balance when the moon is more like this. So right now we're in the full moon, so you have time to kind of implement changes and to invite in some new energy into your life to rebalance. But these clarifiers here with Woman holding a heart and Woman holding a coin. So I have to mention, in this deck, there's also a man holding a heart and a man holding a coin. So what this says to me is that we pulled both of the women and we pulled the heart space, so emotions, heart, that place, and we also pulled the physical, so the coin represents our material world and our physical reality, our could be also career and finance. So to me, this also, and we got Angel of Balance, so it does feel like a balance between the heart and then bringing the visions and the hopes that we have in our heart this is about bringing it into the physical, and grounding that down into reality. But I think it's important to note that these are both feminine energies. And the wisdom of the feminine is understanding that our intuitive impulses, our intuitive information that we're receiving is the most important to go by, not what our brain will logically try to tell us. So the feminine is really in touch with that spiritual information, spiritual knowledge, tapping into the intuitive side and going based on that, based on the heart and the gut instinct, rather than always over analyzing everything. The feminine wisdom is also, like I said before, understanding the cycles of life, and that sometimes it's time to take action and sometimes it's time to rest. And the feminine energy is also very receptive. So it's this idea, there's actually very little I need to do right now. What I need to do is sit here and receive. So when I become the thing I am wishing for and do my internal work and heal myself from the inside out, I am becoming an open channel to receive all the desires of my heart. So I do feel like that message is coming through for some reason that, and look, we have masculine and feminine energy, whether we are a man or a woman, so this is not gender-based, but I do feel like it is a cycle right now of tapping more into the feminine side of things and feminine energy. And I'm seeing this butterfly too on her head. So this butterfly is like right over her third eye, which is that's our spiritual center and our spiritual connection. So I do feel like this is an intuitive time. You might be feeling called to do things you've never done before, and I would say go with that. We're in a really unprecedented time, and it's time to do some things differently. So now's the time to reorder things, to operate from our hearts in order to create a different physical reality. I feel like that's really what the message is there. Now, I want to say too, Archangel Raphael, fourth chakra, which is the heart chakra, was underneath the deck in that deck. And I just love working with him. I love him. He's one of my favorite archangels in general. But that's just really opening the heart space, really operating from the heart. And yeah, I felt very much recently that right now is a time where we're having a lot of heart opening and work in that particular area individually and as a collective. So I do feel like there's a big movement to get more into our heart space and act from compassion and love and kindness. And Archangel Raphael really supports us in that. Archangel Raphael is also the healer angel, so a lot of people will invoke him when they're looking for healing or when they're having medical issues. So we can also ask for his help when it comes to the stuff going on medically in the world right now and health-wise. We can ask him to help protect us and heal us as well. Cool. I pulled from I have an animal deck. And interestingly, I got this card, personal choice. So I'm supposed to pick what animal that comes to mind for me. This particular image just, for me, also has a personal connection. But I feel like the first thing so there's 3 different animals that have come up for me today, specifically. First is the crow, and the crow is usually associated with the idea of fearlessness. So crows can be, when they come around or we see them or we're drawn to their energy, a lot of times it's a call to be more courageous, to be more fearless, to get in touch with our inner power. So crow. I also had a cardinal fly right across my path today that I noticed. So I do feel, for me, cardinals are just a message that our loved ones in spirit are with us. So whoever that message is for, your loved ones are watching over you and protecting you and guiding you, and they want you to know that they are still loving you just like they always have. So just feel into that and feel for them. They're there and they want you to know you're not alone. you can talk to them and ask them for help at any time. Also, I had a ladybug land on me today, and I think that was I think one of my guides sent that one to me on purpose, but yeah, some of the energy has been a little bit depressed and heavy lately. So the ladybug to me, like it landed on me, I looked over and I smiled because in Germany, ladybugs are a symbol of good luck and good fortune. So if a ladybug lands on you, that means that you're in for a time of good luck and good fortune. So I do think, in spite of what things may look like, we are actually receiving a lot of good things at the moment. So, but I also think just on this card, the message, personal choice, this is a big theme right now also. We have personal choice and personal agency over the way we view the world. So our minds create the reality that we experience, which means that we have personal choice, and I would go further to say personal responsibility for how we view the world, what we're putting out into the world, and also how we're showing up for other people. So I think it's a great time to reflect on what personal choices you're making right now. Starts with taking really good care of yourself, so that care can extend outward to other people and then outward further to the greater world. So yeah, personal choice. What choices are you making, and how are they supporting the reality you would like to experience? How are they supporting the dreams that you're trying to create? So things to think about. Awesome. And I'm going to get off my preachy chair now from there. So I pulled from another deck and just wanted to get a sense of like, okay, what masculine and feminine energies are we working with right now? What other messages can we get? So I got, and this feels relevant, the God of Obstruction. And this is, the lesson of this card is about understanding that sometimes obstacles are put in our path, or difficulties are put in our path in order for us to gain strength by overcoming them. So it's not that you're being punished. It's not that the world sucks or God hates you or this terrible thing is happening. Why is this happening to me? If we can kind of elevate our viewpoint and look at it from a different perspective, we can say, thank you for this roadblock. What is it teaching me? Thank you for this roadblock. Thank you for this obstacle. And really try to sit with the lesson and move through it with as much, with giving ourselves as much compassion and grace as possible, and understanding that, yeah, each challenge that we face is actually a huge gift, so that sometimes the things that feel like they're blocking us are actually leading us exactly where we need to go. So I think that's a lesson for us right now, and that's why he's showing up. I also got two goddesses came out, so I just went with it. I got the Goddess of Wisdom and the Goddess of Sensuality. So I feel like on the feminine side of things, so yeah, this was the masculine. So this is like action oriented. This is what's going on in the physical world, steps we're taking. So I do feel like, the physical action we're doing is we're really overcoming a lot of things right now and working through some difficult circumstances. So you're doing great with that. But the feminine side, the intuitive side, the receptive part, we got the Goddess of Wisdom and the Goddess of Sensuality. So I do feel like we are tapping into a greater wisdom. We're learning a lot right now spiritually and growing a lot spiritually. And it's about, can we sit in this place of higher knowing, and can we respond to what's going on around us from a place of truth and centeredness? Can we make wise choices rather than maybe reactive or erratic ones? Going back to personal choice and personal power. And also this Goddess of Sensuality. For me, this is about really embracing every moment. The phrase I heard when I pulled this was romancing life. So taking in every scent, every sensation, and the sensations that we perceive as good and the sensations we perceive as negative. Can we really embrace every moment as much as possible? Can we be in touch with our physical body and our sensual side? yeah, really living life to the fullest. And that means with joy as much as possible, but also just really taking in the world and celebrating our own body and the bodies of others, celebrating the physical nature and what's around us and what blessings we have and what we have to be grateful for. So to me, that's what sensuality means. It means living life as a fully embodied being. And so that, I feel like, is part of the lesson that we're learning as well, is can we be in this moment and make the most of it? What I also got from that deck was the card Surrender and Rebirth. So this is beautiful, and it does feel like a line. So it's like we need to get to this place of surrender, acceptance of what is and where we are, and fully being present in this moment as it is, not trying to change it or fight against it. And this is what is going to cause a rebirth. So there's going to be this, like I said right at the beginning, new spark. There's something new that is birthing. And for me also, when I was talking about the butterflies symbolize rebirth to me as well. We're also in Easter week, which is really interesting to get this rebirth energy. And I do feel like this is what's happening. This is very phoenix-like. It's like things have to burn down in order for something new to be created. And I think we're all doing this on a personal level and a collective one. Rebirth processes can be very difficult and they can feel challenging for sure. But there is something very beautiful that is trying to make its way to us. And in the moments when I have lost some of my faith, or I have felt overwhelmed and wondered, why is this happening to me, or why is it so hard right now? We're building this new thing, and that does require some kind of breakdown. It just does. And it does also sometimes require a bit of a trust fall before this new thing can happen. So if this is where you're at, I feel you. Stick with it. And you're not alone in what you're going through. Also got just some loving messages for us. Maybe I'll end with those. So I pulled from my healing deck to see what's coming up to be healed right now. And they kind of were calling me out, and forgive my language. This felt like a little bit of a bitch slap for me. But it must be for somebody else too. So I'm going to go with it. These came out together. So rejection and hole in the soul. Okay. So, right. And this card looks very isolated to me. So I definitely feel that there's a bunch of abandonment wounds that are coming up for people right now. This is about feeling rejected, feeling like you as you are were not enough at some point along the line. And so what you've learned is that when other people push you away, there must be something wrong with you. This wound is about, a lot of times it's about like we didn't have our needs met at some point along the line, often when we were very young. And so what we do is either we reject other people because we don't like what they're showing us. We're not ready to look at those wounded parts of us. Or we create scenarios where we are rejected by somebody else because we're not choosing ourselves. So this is a biggie. These abandonment wounds, they really flare up at very inconvenient times. And I feel like these are related because this sense of rejection, this sense of like people not choosing you, or there being something flawed within you that makes it so you're not worthy of love, it's very isolating. And this hole in the soul, like, it makes, yeah, I mean, how else do you describe that? It makes you feel like there's a piece of you that's missing, or there's a piece of you that's dirty or wrong, that needs fixing or changing, or maybe you start to reject yourself then because you feel like there's a part of me that's wrong. I'm going to reject these pieces of me that don't feel whole. What I'm going to speak about this is that none of those things are true. Every single human being who is born onto this planet is worthy of love. There is nothing that makes you unworthy of it. Ever. Nothing. 0. Our birthright is that we are worthy to be loved unconditionally. And another truth that I'm just going to drop here is that there is no such thing as a broken person. There is no such thing as a person who needs fixing. Our birthright, what we come here with, is that we are completely whole and we are completely lovable as we are. Meaning, every perceived flaw, everything about us that we feel is what makes other people reject us. The things about ourselves that we reject within ourselves do not make us any less whole. And I feel that part of the healing process is understanding that you, in all your mess, in all your glory, you are whole, complete, beautiful, worthy, lovable, exactly as you are, exactly where you are in this moment. It doesn't mean that you're not moving towards a different version of yourself. We always are. We're always changing and growing. But please, please, if you hear it from no one else but me, love, accept, and have compassion for yourself exactly where you are in this moment. You don't need to change. You don't need to be anything other than what you are. And the more that we can love ourselves right where we are, I think that's actually the key to how we start to shift things. Because when we feel worthy, we make better choices. In personal choice. When we feel worthy and lovable, and we understand that everyone else also is worthy and lovable, we make different choices. So, I'm just going to take, there's a lot of heaviness there. So just me personally, I'm just going to take a second to take a few deep breaths and just send some love out to whoever's watching right now, whoever needs this love and compassion. And if you want to do it with me, so what I do is I breathe in loving, compassion, light, golden energy, and I blow out heavy, dense, stuck energy. So I'm just breathing in the light, pushing out all and moving all that energy that's heavy and stuck. So I'm giving that all to you right now who are listening. Yeah, it's been a heavy time for a lot of us. And what's really nice is the messages that I got also from this deck were self-love. So isn't this a gorgeous card? And it actually really reminds me of the sensuality card we got earlier. This self-love, like her heart is open, her arms are open to the universe. She's receiving all the goodness. She's also got her hands open to give it. Her heart is just out there, and that beautiful pink, like it's like the sun's coming up behind her. So this is the space I believe we're moving towards, is this self-love and compassion. We got patience here though. So there may be setbacks in this. You're not just going to suddenly feel amazing all the time. That's just not what the human experience is. So have patience with yourself and kindness for yourself. That is part of self-love, is being able to sit with ourselves when we are not in this space of feeling great. Having patience and understanding that you're doing a lot of really beautiful work. Just having the bravery to have self-reflection and sit with yourself and move through things that are difficult is brave. And so, yeah, you deserve to give yourself a pat on the back for all of that. Like I said, I do really feel like what happens a lot is we do this work and we try to make these changes, and we're sitting with ourselves and we're really trying to be a better version of ourselves and move forward and heal and invite all the good things into our lives and fulfill our dreams and help the world and all these things. And we're so focused on the work that needs to be done that we forget how far we've come. And we also forget to enjoy the experience that we're having right now. before we've gotten to whatever our goal or destination is. So I do feel like we're in a bit of a pause so that we can really appreciate life in a new way. I also think that there are going to be some rapid changes coming very, very soon. And so we're preparing the way for this new thing that we've been trying for so long. So we're so close. I really feel that way. We're so close. So I'm going to leave you with these last messages, which are really nice. We've got treasure your loved ones, which is totally consistent with the message of community that we've had come up twice in this reading already. And it says it is important to love others deeply. So I do feel really treasuring and being present with our loved ones right now in whatever capacity that can be, even if it's just via a video call or I love this. Like it's like this beautiful loving relationship is being held in the palm of these hands. Like that is how we can love so deeply, and it's really important to treasure those moments that we have with our loved ones. And if we get a chance to do that right now, that's the new priority. That's the most important thing that oftentimes we lose sight of. So treasure your loved ones. And last message I'm going to leave you with is love who you are. You are a divine and wonderful person deserving all the wonderful things that life has to offer, which is basically all of what I was just talking about. So love who you are. You get to spend this lifetime in the beautiful body as the beautiful being you are. And you are the only person who gets to do that. And that is so special. So embrace that. Embrace yourself. Love who you are. Love where you are, even if you don't like where you are. I'm just sending so much love out to all of you. If I can help you at all with a personal reading, please send me a message. I'm running a discounted reading special right now, so I'd love to give you more personal guidance for your specific journey. I'm just wishing everybody a very happy full moon and love you all. Until next time.